having never seen the Broadway musical or having only seen The Wizard of Oz one time, I checked out Wicked and I can say this was an absolute blast. Let's get into it. Hey guys, what is going on? Thank you for taking your own time out to check out my thoughts on Wicked. If you're brand new here, my name is Mike. If you're coming back, thanks for returning once again. And I don't really have much experience with Wicked and this whole franchise, the Broadway adaptations. So I went into this pretty blind, but I saw the cast, I saw the director, who is Jon M, and the main stars is Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo, Jeff Goldblum, Michelle Yeoh, and many more. And this is basically the prequel to The Wizard of Oz. Now, one thing to clarify and for you guys to know before you go into this is actually in two parts. The marketing hasn't told you that, but when the movie starts and it shows its opening titles, it clearly says part 1, and the ending does say to be continued with no post-credit scene, just so you know. So yeah, don't expect a complete story. However, I do have a few nitpicks with that, which we'll get into. But what can I say about Wicked? This was a great time. I honestly loved most moments, and this runs for about 2 hours and 40 minutes, so it does ask a lot of the audience to commit to this runtime. This is just an absolute magical, fantastical, just another world you are absolutely absorbed in. One thing for me with these kind of movies is I don't want to feel as if characters are playing cosplay, or that they are trying to sell this illusion in front of a green screen. Because you can tell there's some actual set locations and props and sets that was actually built, whether it's to represent the Emerald City, whether it's to represent the Shiz University. It's done in such a magnificent way where constantly in every single scene there's always vibrant colours popping out of the screen or in your face, and the usage of the greens, the pinks, the blues, the yellows, any colour that you can think of is done absurdly well. I really had a great time with this. The musical numbers are also really catchy, a lot of toe-tapping musical numbers as well, and some by the end, especially Defying Gravity, I was like, yeah, I could sing along to this. And you know, if a movie can make you feel like that, then it's definitely done something right. But how are the performances? Well, absolutely for me, Cynthia Erivo, who plays Elphaba, stole the show. Absolutely killed it with her performance. But how is Ariana Grande as Glinda? Equally as good. Not as good as Cynthia personally, but of course, it's the whole point. It's Wicked. It's based on the Wicked Witch of the West, if you've seen Wizard of Oz. But Ariana Grande definitely plays a great other main character, and both of them have really good chemistry. They both have two different personalities, and it's really cool how they'd represented those personalities. Because for example, Glinda is a character where she's never told no. She gets her own way. She's very comedic in her own ways. However, Elphaba is very reserved a lot of the time, trying to hold back this power that she is suppressing, but also looking out for her sister. And that's where like the sister and then Ethan Slater and other characters come in as supporting cast, along with Michelle Yeoh and Jeff Goldblum. And the supporting cast are also really good. And I have just a lot of positives for this. This was a really great movie. There's so much magic and nuance, and it asks a lot of the audience. But I think whatever age demographic that you're in, whether you're a teenager, whether you're an older person going to see this movie, you're going to have a wonderful time. It definitely deserves all the buzz and rave it's been getting. However, with all of that said, I do have two negatives. And the two negatives for me, and again, I appreciate this is in two parts, so I'm sure part 2 will flesh this out even more. But just as part 1 as a whole, the side characters feel a little bit relegated. And I get that's the whole point, it's not based on them. But they set up stories within those side characters that I think will play a bigger picture. But for now, a lot of them felt underdeveloped. I wanted a little bit more screen time with them, learn a little bit more about them, but also as this movie wraps up, it doesn't really give you an exciting conclusion of the side characters and what they're going to do next. My other nitpick I do have is with Jeff Goldblum and Michelle Yeoh. Now, Jeff Goldblum plays the wizard and Michelle Yeoh plays Miss Marvel, and they both do good for what they're given, but if you're wanting a lot of screen time with either characters, you're not really gonna get that. And when it comes to the villain portion of the third act reveal, it's pretty weak. Actually, it felt almost kind of mustache twirling villains at that point in time. I wanted a little bit more, because as I say, I've only ever seen the original Wizard of Oz, and that's my interpretation of this whole universe. So there is other expansions out there that I do know I'm missing out on, but I just wanted a little bit more from that ending, a little bit more with the reveal, and to actually have some kind of weight and stakes to it by the time the movie does end. Because ultimately Cynthia Erivo brings all of that herself towards the end, and it definitely leaves some doors open as to where part 2 is going to go, but I just wanted that slight little bit more. But with all that said, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I wanted more from the movie. That's a good thing. I want to see more. I want to see a part 2, and I will certainly be there day one when part 2 drops. So my overall score for Wicked will be a 4 stars out of 5. Now, if you guys don't already know, I do have a Patreon, but because it's Black Friday, I'm doing a deal for you guys. You get 20% off your first month. So click the link down below in the description box. Join today to get access to a whole range of exclusive videos you'll never get here on YouTube. And I do want to give a big thank you to all these awesome legends who support Patreon. Now, in the meantime, if you haven't seen these videos of mine, well, click over here, have a bit of a deep dive. Till next time, I see you guys. I'll be seeing you later.